Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Local Leaders, the podcast. And today we have several gentlemen that we're going to be talking to from Cool Kings Heating and Air. I'm going to let them introduce themselves before we get into what we're going to talk about today. So we'll start over here.
What's going on? My name's Ryan Swilley, and I'm with Cool Kings Heating and Air.
I'm Ethan Swilley. I'm the lead technician at Cool Kings Heating and Air.
And I am Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, a podcast. Glad to have these guys on. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, it's fall. What are we talking about air conditioners for? Well, if you live in South Louisiana like we do, you always need air conditioner. Yep. It doesn't matter what month it is. And so today we're going to cover several topics. We're going to talk about refrigerant efficiency changes that have come out that may or may not affect you, the type of AC systems that are recommended to use for homes. I would like to get a little bit into, how square footage plays a part in that. We're also going to talk about the most common AC repairs that are out there that you guys see. I think that would be interesting because obviously those are things that people would want to avoid. We're going to talk about basic thermostats versus smart thermostats. Something that's really come and hit the mainstream, if you will, lately is these smart thermostats you can control from your cell phone. We're going to talk about that a little bit. When to clean your AC, something that a lot of people don't realize the importance of doing, I would imagine semi-frequently, but we're going to get into that with the experts. Regular filters versus perforated filters, if you will. That's what I call them. There's probably a better word for that, but we're going to talk about those. The importance of a professional AC person versus a chuck in the truck, for example. How important is it to have someone that really knows ACs like the back of their hand? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to give you some things that you can do that will help you to not have to have such frequent service calls maybe in the air conditioner world. And we're going to give you some other information as well. But first, we're going to talk to the owner of this company, Ryan. I just want to give the listeners a little grasp of what got you into owning Cool Kings.
Yeah, so kind of a brief explanation of how I got into it. In high school is when my now wife got pregnant, right? So I was doing paint and sheetrock at the time, and my dad always told me, he's like, son, you don't want to put paint on walls for the rest of your life. It's hard to raise a family, doing that. So was laying in bed and I, saw a commercial come up to go to school for air conditioning. So that's what I decided to do. So went to school for air conditioning, got out, worked for a company for probably about 5 or 6 years. It was 2 different companies. And then after that, I decided to get out right at the beginning of COVID. And started my company. Now for some people that was great. And then for some other businesses, it wasn't. It was difficult, obviously, being in the home industry, the service industry, going into people's houses, having to be face to face with them. But you don't have a choice. You got to have your air conditioning fixed. So, that's really why I got into it is for the family. And then shortly after getting into it is really when I fell in love with it. Yeah.
And I noticed y'all have the same last name.
Yes, sir.
So what is your relationship here?
We're brothers.
Brothers. Okay. Very good. And what do you do for Cool Kings?
So I'm the lead technician.
Yeah.
So usually it's me and Ryan running calls. We have another technician, but Ryan is more business oriented nowadays. So if there's a very large job that needs to be taken care of, I'm usually number one on the roster to go ahead and get out there and make sure that everything's going to be taken care of properly. So just making sure that the ins and outs of the workday are going to be taken care of well.
Very good. And you seem very analytical. So you seem like someone that really likes to get down in the weeds, if you will, and really dive into problem solving, things of that nature. And a lot of times, look, the AC business is not different than a lot of other trades in that, usually when someone's calling you, it's a problem. They're not calling you to say hello. They're usually mad because their air conditioner is not working, and you may have had nothing to do with that. This may be a completely different company that put an AC in, but they break. They're machines. They break over time, and so when they call you guys, it's usually, my wife is about to hit me with a frying pan because it's 90 degrees in this house, and can you come help me? And I need you now. And all of those sort of things.
They're already mad.
Yeah, they're already mad before. So it really takes, in my opinion, a special person to be able to put someone at ease and say, hey, we're here for you.
Yeah, I mean, communication skills definitely play a large factor in what we do.
Yeah.
It's not just fixing air conditioning systems.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I know people in the Livingston Parish area and the Baton Rouge area, which are the primary listeners of my audience. I know they've seen your trucks out there, and you have some of the best branding. Really sticks out, even though it's Florida Gator colors in some ways. That kind of stands out. People notice that. You see a lot of purple and gold out there, and it's like it blends in now because of LSU.
A little background on the colors. The first air conditioning company I worked for was out in Walker.
Yeah.
And their colors are orange.
Okay.
And the second air conditioning company I worked for was out in Central. Their colors were blue. So they really instilled in me, what business and air conditioning was. So I just stole both their colors and put them together.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Now, obviously, you've been in the business since 2020 as far as owning your own company. In the business prior to that, of course, working for others. But even in that amount of time, you've probably seen a lot of changes in the air conditioner world.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't take but 3 to 6 months to see a change in the air conditioning industry. Everybody's got their hands in it. It's very lucrative. When it comes to the government, the supply houses, there's just always changes happening.
Yeah.
Efficiencies, refrigerants, different codes that we have to use, sensors. I mean, these air conditioning systems are getting so smart, it's making it real difficult to just change a capacitor or wash a unit and tell the customer goodbye.
Yeah. It's kind of like vehicles. 20 years ago, you could actually change the oil in a vehicle. Now, man, you're taking a chance doing that. You got to tear apart the whole motor. So same thing in your world. Let's talk about refrigerant efficiency changes first. So this is something that I can remember changing over time from like 25 years ago to, 15 years ago. Where are we at now? What is the deal with that?
So right now we are in what they call A2L refrigerants. Okay, well, let me back it up because, again, you said that the refrigerants change.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's all different theories, whether it's actual global warming or if it's a money grab. Okay. Yeah. But every refrigerant has a GWP, which is a global warming potential number. Okay. So back in the day, it was R12. Mm-hmm. Then it went to R22, probably in like the 90s, early 90s-ish, if I'm correct. And then the early 2000s, we went to R410A, which had a lower GWP number. And now in 2024, transitioning into 2025, we went to A2L refrigerants. Now, A2L basically just moves it up the scale of flammability as well. Okay. So this new refrigerant is flammable, but it has a lower GWP.
Yeah.
And the two refrigerants are R32 and R454B. Again, with this flammable refrigerant, that's going back to the technology. Now all these air conditioning systems have to have leak sensors on the inside of the air conditioning systems to prevent a large amount of this refrigerant getting into people's houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. And when did that occur? Was it in the last year or so?
It was the first of this year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When the EPA makes mandates, usually it's over a term of a couple years. But the thing that's kind of shook the HVAC industry is that the change to the A2L refrigerants was very sudden.
Yeah.
Based on the last administration's focus on global warming and more, concern for the earth, which is great.
Yeah.
But they kind of pushed the switch to A2L refrigerants a bit too quickly, and that put not only HVAC companies in a bad position, but manufacturers. I mean, we still have trouble getting some of the new refrigerants because they pushed it a little bit too fast. They pushed a 3 to 4 year, process into about 6 months.
Yeah.
So we have manufacturers backed up, not being able to produce the refrigerant, the containers, parts are on back order, and it's real hard to explain to a customer that it's not the AC company's choice to only choose these A2Ls.
Sure.
Right. Hands are tied.
Yeah, it's EPA mandates. There's nothing we could do about it.
Wow. Well, but the good thing is that's where you come in, and that's where you don't want to chuck in the truck going in your house doing that. You want someone that knows the regulations all the way around. And
let me clarify while we're on the topic, because I don't want to freak anybody out.
Yeah.
The refrigerant is flammable, but it's not like propane or butane.
Yeah.
Okay?
Your house ain't going to explode.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, if you put a flame to it, it will ignite and catch fire. But as soon as you move the flame away from it, it will not continue burning.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But that's where the A2L classification comes in. The other classification that's above A2L would be like propane, gasoline, butane, stuff like that. So it's not anything like if it leaks into your house and you turn on the stove that your whole house is going to explode. It's nothing like that. But they do have to take those precautions due to the fact that it is semi-flammable.
And it does have to be it has to be compacted quite a bit. It has to be a high pressure of the refrigerant.
Okay.
So it would have to be 10 to 20 pounds of refrigerant in one room in order for it to even ignite.
Yeah.
And it has to be with an open flame.
Yeah.
And the disbursement rate of it is almost immediate. It doesn't flame or burn like something like gasoline. It's not going to have the ability to spread.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits, it's pretty much gone.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Let's move on to types of AC systems. So I am obviously the layman here on things AC. I know about high efficiency AC systems or something big. As a matter of fact, when I bought my house, that was something I wanted to replace the air conditioners years ago, and the high efficiency was the way to go back in those days. But let's discuss that real quick.
So I'll kind of touch base on it briefly about the different types of air conditioning systems, because, we could drag that out for like an hour.
Yeah, that'd be a 5-parter.
Right. So, your basic nutshell, you have electric air conditioning systems, which just have electric heat. Then you have gas air conditioning systems, which have gas heat. You have a heat pump air conditioning system, which utilizes a reversing valve to reverse the flow of refrigerant to heat the house. And then you have geothermal air conditioning systems, which uses water to cool the air conditioning system.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Your most common are going to be electric and gas air conditioning systems. So that's to touch on the types of air conditioning systems.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, within those air conditioning systems, you have efficiency ratings, right? So if you buy a new television or a refrigerator or an appliance for your house, if you ever notice, it's got that yellow tag on the side of it that says like 7.2 SEER on it, right?
Yeah.
That SEER rating is for seasonal energy efficiency rating. So that should be an indication of how much energy it's going to cost you per year to run that appliance.
Gotcha.
Right? So our air conditioning systems are the same way.
Yeah.
But typically speaking, the lower the number, the least efficient it is.
Okay.
Right? The federal mandate, we're not allowed to install anything lower than a 14.5 SEER 2. Okay. And then some of these air conditioning systems get up in the low to mid 20s, variable speed air conditioning systems.
Yeah.
Typically, the way we like to break it down is single stage equipment, which is what most people have.
Sure.
Right? It comes on in one speed and it shuts off at 0%. And then you have two-stage equipment, which can come on at 50%. So if you go in the house and you're only calling for 1 degree of cooling, so your air conditioning system's only going to come on at 50%. And then if you're calling for multiple degrees, or if you need to dehumidify, it'll come on at 100%.
Right.
And then the variable speed has hundreds of different speeds from 0 to 100%.
Yeah.
Right. Just depending on what the load is.
Yeah.
And then all throughout that just dictates, your energy savings.
And I would imagine the most common that y'all see is electric and gas, probably electric.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. let's talk about the expense side of that. Like, what is the most, I guess, I don't want to use the word cheap, but the most cost efficient.
So your most cost effective system is going to be a single stage system.
Yeah.
There's less technology in it. There's less parts in it. It's cheaper for them to manufacture. Okay.
Right.
So our prices really only go up if it is, for one, harder to install,
Yeah.
for two, harder to maintain, and for three, if the cost out the door is double. Let's say the variable speed system is double, sometimes triple the price of just a normal single stage air conditioning system. So that's when you get into the, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 price difference between, just your standard system and your high efficiency system.
Yeah.
Right. Which normally they say it takes anywhere between 8 to 12 years for you to see the price difference in like your electric bill.
Yeah.
Right. So if this high efficiency air conditioning system is $7,000 more than the single stage, they say over the span of 8 to 12 years, based off of your savings in your energy bill, that could be a $7,000 difference.
Now let's talk about the most common AC repairs that you come across. I'd be interested to know where that is.
So we run into quite a few of the same things. The most common repair that we'll run into, I could put it to probably two different things. The first thing is going to be a capacitor.
Yeah.
The way I like to explain it to customers and people that are just curious about it, because everybody knows what a capacitor is. It doesn't matter who you are, you know what a capacitor is.
Yeah.
So the way that I like to explain it in layman's terms, it's like the car battery for your AC unit.
Yeah.
So you could have fresh oil, full on gas, just replace the spark plugs. If you ain't got your battery, you're not going nowhere.
Right.
And what it does is it gives your system the initial torque to go ahead and start up and get it spinning. They go out due to heat. And like you said, in South Louisiana, that is something we experience a whole lot of. So they generally have a lifespan of around 5 years. Now, sometimes we'll run into them and they're 15 years old.
Yeah.
But, of course, things were made better back in the day.
They were.
Of course. But that's one of the most common repairs we'll run into, and they're definitely good to get checked every year on something like a maintenance, just to make sure, because the weaker that they get over time, the more common, that heat's going to do quite a bit of a toll on it.
100%.
The second biggest repair overall is just lack of maintenance.
Yeah.
I mean, having a dirty condenser outside, because again, like we were talking about, AC is such an important thing, but it's also forgotten about. When you walk home after a long day, you've been sweating outside, and you walk into a cool home, you're thankful to be home, but you're not thinking about my AC's working well.
Yeah.
It's such a normal thing to have your AC working well that when it doesn't work well, it takes you by surprise.
Right, and I'll touch base on the maintenance stuff, and what he means by that is lack of maintenance. The outdoor unit is extremely filthy. Mm-hmm. The indoor filter has not been replaced in a couple of months. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's say you've got German Shepherds in the house.
Yeah.
All right, they obviously shed. Your return air is in the wall in the hallway, like
Yeah.
my house. Okay, I pulled
My house.
Yeah,
And I got 3 kids.
right.
Look,
I pulled mine out
they're wild.
I pulled mine out the other day, and I was like, I've got to get rid of this filter before anybody sees this.
Because you're the AC guy. You should have
They're
that.
not gonna call me. I took a picture of it too. I was like, I think I'm gonna post this on Facebook. So yeah, dirty filter, and then not maintaining the drain line.
Right.
Okay.
That's a big
Your
one.
air conditioning system can produce anywhere between 5 and 20 gallons of water a day.
Wow.
So when your air conditioning system is running, it's dehumidifying the air,
Yeah.
but it's pulling the humidity from the air.
Yeah.
So when it pulls that humidity from the air, it drips off the indoor unit and goes out the drain line. Okay. So you've got a constant stream or drip of water, especially down here, because that air conditioning system is running so much. It builds up algae, gunk. So you need to get that drain line blown out at least twice a year.
Twice a year.
And we do that on our maintenance
Yeah.
as well. That's what we recommend. and then also treat that drain line with some type of drain solvent. Okay, so a chemical that's going to go in there and combat all the microbial and algae buildup on the inside of that drain line. And that's going to save you a service call that you just don't want to have. That you could have, the amount of money that you're going to spend to get somebody out there to blow out this drain line and snake everything and treat it, make sure the air conditioning system's back up and running, is more expensive than if you were to just get the air conditioning system maintained and get all these other benefits with it. Now the unit's clean, everything's been checked. So
I agree with that 100%. And I can tell you just from personal experience, and I've had my house 25 years now, but I can't tell you the amount of times that I have had to go up in the attic over that time period with a 5-gallon bucket because my dadgum drain pan was full. And you talk about the amount of water, people don't realize how much water goes in that drain pan.
Oh, yeah.
I must have went up and down them attic steps at least 5 times.
You would be surprised how many people I've ran into over my 10-year career in air conditioning that they've had broken hips, broken ankles from trying to go up and down an attic ladder with either a shop vac or a 5-gallon bucket.
It's no fun.
No.
It's no fun.
We'll pull up the jobs with the full drain pans, and we'll see, an older gentleman in the attic. He's got his Home Depot bucket, like one of the large Cane's cups, and he's just scooping water out, and it's just, by the time he gets the pan a little bit, to where the system will actually turn on. It's going to take a couple more minutes, and it's going to hit the switch again.
And we never really recommend you doing it yourself.
Absolutely
anyway,
not.
Just because for one, it's dangerous.
Sure.
Okay, if you're not used to working in an attic,
and you got those electrical components.
You have the electrical components, and then just to touch on it a little bit, you've got a float switch. Most people just have a standard float switch. If your air conditioning system is that float switch is designed to cut the air conditioning system off,
so that your house doesn't flood.
Exactly.
Essentially.
But if the air conditioning system is still on, and you're trying to get this water out and you're sloshing that float switch up and down, it'll short cycle the compressor, overheat everything, and then you got to call us anyway.
Yeah. And you've got probably twice the problem that you had prior to getting involved. So, take that into consideration and call the pros when you got something like that going on. But I can relate to that drain pan getting full, and that's a direct reflection of not maintaining it and having you guys come out there twice a year. Well, let's talk about that. You said twice a year is a good
so our main
rule of thumb on that.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and spit it out because I spit it out probably 10 times a day. So our maintenance plan is $19 a month per air conditioning system. Okay. That covers an air conditioning maintenance for the summer and a heater maintenance for the winter. For the air conditioning maintenance, we're going to come out and we're going to do a full evaluation of your system. We clean the outdoor system using chemicals, make sure that it's free of debris. We check the refrigerant pressures to make sure that they are within proper ranges for the most efficient cooling. We check all your major electrical and mechanical components. We check the fan motor inside and outside, amp draws on the compressor, capacitor, contactor outside. If there's any bushes around there, to an extent, we try to trim them back a little bit. We treat the drain line to make sure that's blown out and treated. We change your filter if it's there, and we also open the indoor cabinet and make sure that you don't have any mold or mildew growth on the inside of your system. For the winter maintenance, a lot of the work goes into the people that have gas heat. Because there's a lot of safety components. I think it's 11 or 12 safety components on the inside of a gas furnace. Low pressure switches, high pressure switches, high temperature rollout switches, a flame sensor to make sure that it's sensing a flame, and then also carbon monoxide.
Sure.
So we check
the
on that
silent killer.
as well. Right. We check on that as well. We make sure that there's no carbon monoxide coming out of the supply grills. We make sure there's no carbon monoxide leaking out of the flue pipe. And again, we check all those electrical components, treat the drain line, change the filter. And again, this is just for $19 a month, and it's peace of mind.
It's a lunch. It's a lunch.
Right.
It's
somewhere.
It's a Netflix subscription.
Yes, that's right.
Now, granted, our job, and this is what I try to explain to people, and I just let them know up front, like, hey, Mrs. Smith, my job is to come in here and look for problems that could prematurely fail, right? So
being proactive.
Exactly. So, whether you decide to move forward with those repairs or not, I can guarantee you that my technicians are coming up to you, whether it's me, him, or one of our other technicians, we're coming to you with honesty and integrity and letting you know, like, hey, if this was our air conditioning system, I would go ahead and handle this now. If not, we'll be seeing you again in a month, a year, whatever the case may be. Plus, that part's going to be more expensive because you're not going to get the discount on it. And then secondly, you're going to have to pay the service fee.
Well, and that was going to be my follow-up question to that. So, you're on that service plan, and let's say something occurs in between just regular maintenance.
Right.
You save some money on that?
Absolutely. So, if you're on the service plan, you get a 10% discount on any parts and labor.
Okay.
So
Very good.
that includes refrigerant, capacitors, contacts, so anything that we do on the job. The only thing it doesn't include is major components like if a compressor fails or if you need a whole new air conditioning system. Okay.
Yeah.
What it also does is it waives any after hours fees.
Yeah.
So that way, if you call me on a Saturday at 6 o'clock, LSU game starts at 6:30. I got a house full of 20 people. My air conditioning system's not working. On my way.
Come on.
Right. So you're on our priority list.
I'd let you finish the game first.
So you're on our priority. You made a priority to us to join our plan, trusting in us. So now it's our time to step in and, give you those benefits.
Yeah. And that can get the after hours calls. I mean, obviously can get, costly. So something like that. I would be of the opinion that if you're in South Louisiana and you're not on an air conditioner maintenance plan, you're loco. Yeah. I mean, I really think you need to consider that because so many things can happen. I mean, these are machines. Yep. I tell people that all the time. I don't care how good the equipment is. Machines have problems. They break sometimes, and it's nobody's fault. It just happens.
Components. I mean, it's not a hot water heater.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 parts to a hot water heater.
Right.
And we're talking about hundreds of parts in an air conditioning system.
And they all got to function properly and all of that.
They're only getting more complicated as time goes as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right.
Even 10 years ago, or I'll even push it back to when I started doing AC work, it was so much more simple as far as how the units were put together. But now we have communication-based systems where the indoor unit has to talk to the outdoor unit. And a big thing that we pride ourselves on is the time in which it takes for us to get to you and get you back up and running.
Yeah.
If your AC ever goes out in your house, you would be surprised how fast your home acclimates to that outdoor temperature.
Yeah.
It rises quickly. And the longer it takes for any technician to get out there, the longer it's going to take for it to get back down.
Right.
And like he said, with a house full of 20 people watching an LSU game, hooping and hollering, running around, it's going to heat up quick, and you definitely want to make sure they're comfortable in that house.
That's right. No doubt about it. And you kind of alluded to this a little bit, so it's a good little segue into it, and that is basic versus smart thermostats. So when I bought my house, you pulled the little switch down, and it wasn't even digital, man. You just pull that thing down to 68's how I like it in the house.
Mercury.
Pull it down, and it would just cut on, and you didn't really have to think about it after that unless you had an issue. Now, wow, you can access them from your phone. You can turn them off when you're on vacation, turn them on 5 hours before you get home, whatever. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So, the Mercury thermostats, the old thermostats with just the dial on the side of it. If you have that thermostat, you need to get rid of it.
Yeah. Mine's long gone.
Yeah. So
but it was cool for a while.
I mean, they worked good for while they were here, know, but then they invented batteries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Batteries.
So now we have they're inaccurate.
Yeah.
Okay. They're inaccurate. Even though you got it set at 68, depending on where that mercury is in that bulb, and if your spring is out of alignment, like your 68 is not actually 68.
Yeah. Right.
And then you step up to just the digital standard non-programmable thermostat.
Yeah.
Okay. They work great for most applications, like offices and stuff like that.
Sure.
And if you're home and you don't mind adjusting the thermostat, when you leave the house and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have your smart thermostats. Okay.
Yeah.
Like your Nest, your Ecobee, the smart thermostats that you can buy from your local Home Depot.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the benefit of these thermostats is, like you were saying, the capability of controlling it from your cell phone.
Right.
Right. So, hey, I'm on my way home. Let me go ahead and bump this down. Or I'm laying in bed. It's hot. I don't feel like getting up. Let me bump the temperature down.
Yeah.
Or it's cold. Let me turn the heater on.
Yeah.
And then also the ability to be able to program it.
Yeah.
Right. So during the wintertime, I love that it's cold. Right. So I set my thermostat at like 65 degrees before the heater comes on. But I make sure if I'm waking up at 5, that heater's kicking on at 4.
Yeah.
So the floors are not ice cold when I wake up. So it's 68, 69 degrees whenever I wake up. So that's a really good benefit.
It really is. And just technology, man. That was almost something that was not there. And then the next day, everybody was knowing about these smart thermostats and all the cool things you can do with them. And you're right. It's a benefit to be able to sit at work and, hey, I'm going to go home in a couple hours. And so I'm going to cut it down a little bit.
Right.
And you're saving money. You're not running it all day at that temperature.
Some of these thermostats have so many features. One of the features that some of them have is a proximity feature.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you just walk in front of it, it knows somebody's home.
Yeah.
Humidity sensors. So it knows just to kick the air conditioning system on and run for just 10 minutes, even though if it's set to the right temperature, the humidity's a little high, so we need to kick on and run for a couple minutes.
Right.
So there is a bunch of built-in features in those as well.
Very good. And so let's move on. I don't know if I'd call this the great debate, but I've heard so many different answers to this question. I'd love to get y'all's expert opinion on this, and that is filters. So my wife, for example, is very cognizant of it's almost like I tell her she's got ADD for filters. I mean, she will write the date on it, and even though she has a date, she's going to check it once a week and look at it. And hey, it's a good thing to do, I guess. But my mind's on other things. What? First of all, how often should a filter? And I know your environment plays a huge factor in that.
Yeah.
But is there kind of a recommended standard?
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because we actually made a video the other day. It was kind of a redneck science video, explaining the different filter types. And basically,
that's awesome.
We laid the 2 different filters out, and we poured different stuff on top of it, whether it was grass, hair, sand, glitter, flour, But the one filter I want everybody to stay away from is the mesh filters.
Okay.
The green, blue,
Spiderweb.
white. When you hold it up, I mean, it's clear as day, you can see through it.
Yeah.
It's like that plastic weaving.
Yeah.
So definitely 100% stay away from that.
Okay.
If you hold that filter up and I drop a handful of sand on it and all that sand falls out the bottom, what makes you think it's going to catch small particles of dust?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
Typically, what we tell customers is you want to find a good middle-of-the-road pleated filter.
Pleated. That's the word I was looking for, not perforated.
Yeah, the one that's got the waves in it. Because a lot of times people want to get the most expensive, highest MERV rating, and the higher the MERV rating, the more filtration it has.
Yeah.
But like we were saying earlier, it could hurt or suffocate your air conditioning system. So it doesn't take long for that filter to, yes, it works great at filtering, but yes, it also works great at suffocating your unit.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So a lot of times you'll buy these filters and it's like 3-month filter.
Yeah.
They're not 3 months.
Right.
None of them are
That's
3
my
months.
wife always says.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Right. So it's like hypoallergenic, 3-month filter, da-da-da-da-da. So then you go and pay $35 for this filter, and after 3 months, this filter is filthy.
Yeah.
Right? I'd much rather you buy the cheaper filter, save some money, and just change it once a month.
Yeah.
And that's a good rule of thumb. That's what we tell every customer. I tell them, change your filter every time you pay your light bill, because your light bill is a clear indication of if your unit is breathing properly.
It's actually a great idea.
I think the best tip that I give customers for filters, everybody uses Amazon. I don't think there's a person walking around today that does not have Amazon on their phone. Amazon has a fantastic auto ship program.
Yeah.
If you set it up for every 1 to 2 months, let's say 2 months, every 2 months, they are going to automatically purchase and send one of those filters to your home.
Yeah.
As soon as it arrives on your front door, and remind you, I need to go change that filter.
Right.
It's already at the front door. Go ahead and go change it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, oh, the filter's dirty. Let me go check the spare broom closet, see if I have an extra filter.
Let me dig behind the dryer.
Yeah.
See if it's there.
Yeah,
right.
I think a big point that
I've
we
done
need
that.
to touch on is the MERV ratings. And you can correct me, but it's 9 to 13 MERV is what I would typically recommend for a residential home.
Okay.
Going above that, like we discussed earlier, it can sort of affect the airflow that your system is able to pull. And anything lower than that, you start getting into the territory of these more spiderweb type filters where, yes, it's allowing more airflow, but the things that you're trying to protect your system from, and not only that, your indoor air quality, those things start to make their way through your system, which is also a negative effect of it.
No,
Yeah,
and
true.
let's be clear too. I mean, talking about the MERV rating, this conversation specifically, we are talking about 1-inch filters.
Yeah.
The 1-inch thick filters that you get
Right.
from the Amazon or Home Depot.
Yeah.
Okay. They have the option for you to get 3-inch filters that also slide in that grill. 4 or 5-inch filters, and then they also have media filters. Okay.
Right.
The media filters are big 5-inch filters that slide in and out of the air conditioning system. A lot of newer homes are getting them installed during the construction process. Some people don't even know they're there. We get there 2 years later and they're like, I thought it was filterless.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, that's obviously your problem. But, those get up to like 21, 23 MERV rating. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But because it's so thick, it's got a lot of surface area for that air to get through.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. And I love your idea about just setting it up on Amazon where it shows up, and that's your reminder. I mean, and you're right. They're efficient with doing that sort of thing. So I want to talk real quick about, the importance of having a professional company that works on your AC. I'm not in the world, so I can only imagine the amount of people out there that aren't as schooled in the trade. I mean, are there certifications you have to carry, things like that in this business?
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody, you're on the rants and raves pages.
Sure.
Right? So we see it all the time. I got such and such to come out, and he did this, and that. He charged me X amount of dollars. I can't get him back on the phone, or they're not coming out doing a high quality job. And look, great, if that's what you're looking for, that's fine, but it's not us.
Yeah.
So a lot of times whenever people get on, and I hate for it to sound kind of sideways, right? But whenever it's kind of hard to satisfy people sometimes, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So whenever they get on, they're like looking for recommendations for an air conditioning company that's really good, knows what they're doing, and that is, cheap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't tag me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, and that's not me saying like, oh, we're the most expensive, but I mean, you're paying for us to be there in 30 minutes. You're paying for us to show up there in full uniform. You're paying for us to show up there not smelling like weed. Right. You're paying for us to show up with EPA and NATE certifications.
Yeah.
You're paying for that text message notification letting you know when we're on our way. The text message notification letting you know that the job is finished. You're paying for knowing that the job has been done correctly.
Yeah.
And then there's warranties associated with that. You're paying to know if we pull up to a job and we say, yeah, it's your capacitor, I replace your capacitor, leave, and it cools for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you call me back and say, hey, it's not cooling again, I'm coming back out there again for free, doing whatever I have to do, because we should have fixed it first.
Right.
We should have fixed it right the first time.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, then we didn't do our job.
Yeah. You're going to make it right.
We don't, and back to that point, we don't just show up and fix the air conditioning unit. I mean, that's what your service charge is for. Yes, it might be just a capacitor, but I'm doing that inspection while I'm there.
Yeah.
Right? Is the drain line dirty? Is your filter clean? Does the outdoor unit need to be clean? But they're not, and I'm not allowed to leave a job unless you put your gauges on that unit.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the blood pressure and the heart rate of an air conditioning system. So you just got to be careful. And,
Sure.
There's a lot of people that think they know air conditioning work. There's a ton of people that know how to change a capacitor.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that know air conditioning work.
Right.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to the point that we were talking about earlier as well. I can't tell you how many times I run into somebody where we'll talk about what needs to be done with their system. And they're like, oh, my uncle, he used to do HVAC work 20 years ago. I'll just get him to do this. Earlier we talked about the technology differences that AC units have been experiencing just over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Back when the units were much simpler, yes, maybe your uncle could have handled this.
Sure.
But back then they used to have phrases like beer can cold. If your suction line was beer can cold, they're wrapping it up and leaving.
Yeah.
We can't go by those metrics anymore. My doctor calls it OCD, but I like to do things correctly. Okay?
Yeah.
And I dive deep into that bird's nest. It's a lot more than just, is it a capacitor?
Yeah.
Is it low on refrigerant? Is it beer can cold? We're going to go through every single crack and crevice of the system.
We just try to make sure that the customer is getting what they're paying for.
Sure.
Because, money's tight for everybody right now.
Yeah.
You don't want me out there anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have to pay me to come out there anyway, you need to get a good service.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good companies out here.
Sure.
And I'll be the first to say that. And I don't talk crap about a lot of companies in the area. I think a lot of people have good heart. They're really trying to provide a great service, show up on time, do the same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
But there's triple that aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Make sure you have a good AC company is worth its weight.
Right. That $150, $200 capacitor repair, you call the wrong company, that might be a new air conditioning unit.
Yeah. Very good point.
And the worst part about it is that a lot of people don't know anything about AC systems. So it may and we've experienced this a ton where we'll get somewhere and they'll be like, okay, we had another company out and it was a larger company. And they told me I needed a new system. My compressor's bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad compressor.
We get there.
Before.
We get there, and it's something simple like a capacitor or a wire's undone. We've even ran into jobs where some of these larger companies are sabotaging the units.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Wow.
Because people don't know
That's messed up.
there was an experience with a lady. It was right before we experienced all this snow, and she was taking care of her grandkids. The children's mother weren't in the picture, unfortunately, and she had a big company come out there because her heat stopped working. So we went up in the attic, and she had just gotten out the hospital with dialysis, and we went up in the attic, and it was a capacitor that needed to be replaced. Her blower motor wasn't running. They told her she needed a new system, and if they contacted her quick enough, they can get it in before the snow came through. So they went upstairs and unplugged her unit.
Either that or they turned the gas valve off. It was one of the two.
Either way, it was such a simple thing that they could have made sure that these people were going to be comfortable through such a harsh time in Louisiana weather, and instead they sort of looked at it as a money-making opportunity.
And I'll touch on this very briefly. Because I don't think a lot of people know this, right? I kind of explained to you a little bit. Private equity companies or banks are stepping into our industry largely, okay? Because they notice that the industry is high profit margin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
They see that there's money to be made. So these private equity companies are buying out larger companies and flipping them upside down. And how are they flipping them upside down? They have a whole different tactic of how they're running business. Okay. Whenever they add you to their schedule, they're no longer adding you to the schedule in priority of when you called.
Yeah.
They're adding it to the schedule based off of how old your air conditioning system is. Right. The employees that are going there to get your air conditioning system looked at are performance-based paid employees.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they do not sell you anything, if they do not make multiple repairs, they do not make money.
Wow.
Okay. My guys get paid the same amount, whether you need a bunch of repairs or if we're just out there and all we charge you is a service fee, or if we couldn't charge you at all.
Yeah.
Right. My guys are still making the same amount of money, and that saves us and my company from having to worry about, having a technician come in and change out all these components that you didn't need just to line their pockets.
Sure.
I want my guys to make good money, but that's on me.
Right.
I should be set up properly. We should have enough maintenance contracts. We should be taking care of customers well enough to where we are so busy I have no problem taking care of my employees. I shouldn't have to worry about my employees being performance based and having to, manipulate customers into getting a fatter paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great point that you make there. And look, I've had companies in the past try to do that to me and tell me I needed, $5,000 worth of work, and come to find out it was about $300 worth of work. And, I don't crush people online because I love small business so much, but they're lucky I didn't, because that was the closest I've ever come to just really exposing a company for who they really were, because that was aggravating. And that leads me into something that I think is very important in any trade, but especially in this trade, because you bring up the point that not a lot of people know about air conditioners. Trust is huge. Yep. If you find a company that you can trust, that they're being honest with you, you'll never want to leave them. It's just like having a good car repair guy.
Yep.
Car repair guy can tell you need a new engine, you just need your oil changed, something like that. And most people are going to believe that, and they're going to spend all this money. So I love it that you bring that up, because that to me is an indication that people can trust what you're saying to them. You're not going to tell them you need a new air conditioner when they just need, a new capacitor, for example.
So typically, we pride ourselves on options.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have to obviously bring sales into our business. Okay. So I don't want it to come off as we're never going to give you a sales proposal to change your air conditioning system.
Yeah.
Right. But the last thing I want to do is, let's say you need a fan motor and it's expensive. Mm-hmm. A new evaporator coil inside, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. A compressor, a lot of refrigerant. So now you have a leak in your system somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you repair option. I'm going to give you replacement option number 1, replacement option number 2, replacement option number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to slide all that over to you, so that way you have every option in front of you to make the best educated decision about your home.
Right.
Right. Because I don't want you spending multiple thousands of dollars to repair this 15-year-old system, when I could have got you financed for 0% interest at 48 months on an air conditioning, a whole new air conditioning system for a couple thousand more dollars, and you don't have to worry about it for another 10, 15 years.
That's right.
It's
very good.
We're always ones to get people up and going for the least amount if possible, but at a certain point, and this is how we sort of built Cool Kings from the bottom, is that we're always going to be for our customers. And, our reviews reflect that. But at a certain point, as people that have to go home and sleep at night, we do have a moral obligation of looking at the other issues with the system and saying, okay, we may need to replace this coil and, refill the system with refrigerant. But if the compressor outside is clicking and clacking and stuff like that, there are other factors that drive into it, of thinking in the back of your head when you collect that check that's multiple $1,000s, and it's going to put quite a dent in this family's pocketbook, that there's a chance that in a couple months you're going to have to come back and tell them that, hey, you need an entire new system, even after all of that work.
Yeah.
So being moral sometimes is more expensive. At least I know.
Sure.
That I'm putting that out.
That's
there.
right, and you gave them the information,
right?
And then from there they can make the decision.
I always compare, because I'm a car guru,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I always compare it to vehicles. Just because it's just like the two of them click together.
Yeah.
But it's like I tell people, it's like, look, you've got a 1995 Chevrolet Silverado with a slip-in transmission.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna go take this truck that's worth $4,000 to a transmission shop for them to put a $5,000 transmission in it.
Yeah.
Oh, why would I do that?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what. And your air conditioning system is not worth $4,000. So, you're about to invest even more into that.
Yep.
You know,
Great point.
Jim, did you see what happened in Texas today?
Wait, before you tell me that, let me tell you what happened in New York.
It cannot be as crazy as the case I told you about yesterday in Louisiana.
You know what? We should do a podcast about it.
And with that, we did. Crime Wire Weekly covers the crime news headlines that have dominated the week.
We cover trending crimes from all over the country and even sprinkle in a few globally.
Crime Wire Weekly is available now wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Simply by searching Crime Wire Weekly or clicking the link in the description of this podcast. All right, so if you'll notice, we have someone new on this show. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do.
My name is Christian Carter. I'm with Cool Kings. I am with customer relations, more of like a brand rep or a brand ambassador with the company. And
very good.
Control. So
awesome. And so I brought you on now for a specific reason. We're going to get in a little bit to the services that Cool King offers outside of just my air conditioner broke. So one of the things that a lot of people need that they may not realize is like duct cleaning. Mm-hmm. Okay. I would imagine one of the ways, and y'all are the pros on this, that you can know pretty much right off the bat you need duct cleaning is if you feel in one room and there's hardly any air coming out, but yet in another room it's like snowing. Tell me about that.
So typically no. That has to do with just where your ducts are positioned on the air conditioning system,
okay,
or if the damper is open or closed.
Okay.
Typically, when we like to service / clean ductwork is about every 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're staying on top of your filters, they should stay clean.
Yeah.
But what that's going to do is it goes in, we use a hard bristle brush and a vacuum machine. We invested a lot of money into this duct cleaning machine, and we send it up the ductwork. It scrapes all the sides of the ductwork and gets all the dust and sometimes spores. Again, South Louisiana, the mildew growth and stuff out the inside of this ductwork. And then after we're done cleaning the ductwork, we fog the entire air conditioning system and the home and the ducts.
And does it matter what type of ducts you have? For example, some people have the flex, I guess.
Hard
the flex,
versus soft.
Yeah, Thank you.
So we have two different bristles. So we have a softer bristle and then the hard bristle. The hard bristle is super aggressive, but again, it's in a metal duct, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the softer bristle is what we typically use for the flexible duct, so that way it doesn't like rip it apart.
Gotcha. And that's something that probably is a job that would take a little bit of time, a couple of days
it takes time
to do a duct replacement if you had to do that.
Yeah. No, well, a duct replacement can happen in the same day.
Yeah.
And a duct cleaning happens in the same day. And typically the customer will call us and say like, hey, we've been having allergy issues, right?
Yeah.
So indoor air quality is something that we focus a lot on. Like I said earlier, we do remediation jobs on the inside of air conditioning systems, ductwork, replace the grills. Some people's grills in their house might have black or green spots growing on them. They're like, I don't know if that's mold or mildew. I'm like, I don't know either, and I don't care. We need to replace it.
Right.
So I'm like,
either way, it ain't good.
Right. Either way, I don't want it in my house.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Mold or mildew.
Sure.
You have to be certified to test for mold.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that the M word is something that we don't use.
Yeah.
And if we do use it, we make sure we let them know, like, hey, we're not mold certified. I would have to get a sample of it, and then I'd have to send it off to labs and stuff like that. So don't go on Facebook saying they told me I had mold. I don't know if it's mold or if it's mildew. Most of the time, it's just mildew.
Yeah.
Either way, like I said, I mean, you don't want it in your house.
It's growing. Whatever it is, it's growing.
Typically,
no doubt about it. Yeah.
a lot of reasons people get them clean too, especially if it's just hard pipe ductwork or flexible ductwork. If it's still in good condition, we just need to clean it.
Sure.
Because it's a fifth or a sixth of the price to clean these ducts. It's a fraction versus replacing it. And we just bought you another 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because look, it's not the cheapest thing in the world to replace an air conditioner, nor is it most things that you have to replace in life. Options that you offer are something that you can't just get with any company. And one of those is your financing options. Let's talk about that.
Basically, it's just a 0% at 48 months, good as cash.
Yeah, and that's on a new unit.
Mm-hmm. Brand new with a 10-year parts warranty.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, and that's a good closing deal for us too.
Yeah.
You know, and a good closing deal for the customer, just to know that you're not paying a bunch of interest to the bank.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, typically, we were
pulling out a credit card, paying 15%.
We were offering 7.99% interest for anywhere between 60 and 72 months.
Mm-hmm.
The interest on these are like $3,500 to $4,500 by the time it's paid off. So that system that you were getting for X amount of dollars is now $4,000 more.
Yeah.
You know, so it really has helped.
Very good. And so you've got something that people may not realize you offer that we've talked about is duct cleaning services, duct replacement services if it's needed.
We do duct replacement. We do duct cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
We do air conditioning, heating, ventilation. We work on stove hoods. We work on heater vent lights in your bathrooms. We clean dryer vents with the same machine that we do duct cleaning with.
Yeah.
We work on walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, and commercial ice machines. So we don't work on like small refrigerators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then again, just that indoor air quality. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
Right.
And then add-ons and accessories. We've got surge protectors to make sure your air conditioning system doesn't get affected by lightning strike or brownouts.
Yeah.
We have UV lights and air scrubbers. That's to make sure that the air quality in your home stays as good as possible to keep not only the home environment. I mean, we've got a lot of pollution in our house.
Sure.
To keep the home environment as healthy as possible. The 5-inch media filter, so you only have to replace your filter every 6 months. Keep your air conditioning system, running.
Yeah.
Dehumidifiers. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because you can go on your website and you can see a lot of these services. Let's shout out your website quickly.
Yeah, it's just CoolKingsHeatingandAir.com.
Can't get any easier than that. But you can go on there. I've been on there multiple times. And it really covers those services in detail, you can expect.
Check us out. You can check us out on TikTok, Facebook, our website. You can go on Google. Look at our Google reviews. I mean, I think we're close to like 275 5-star Google reviews.
Look, and that's not easy in your business.
No.
I mean, it's not. Like we talked about at the beginning, there's a lot of people out there that they get upset, when they're dealing with their air conditioner. And so that's an accomplishment.
It's all about the way that you handle the customer.
Yeah. Communication.
Yeah. Let me ask one more question and then we'll wrap this up. And that is, give me a few things that a homeowner can do specifically in between, which incidentally, $19 a month, y'all. $19 a month.
It's a Caniac combo.
It's a Caniac combo. What a lemonade, $19 a month, and it gives you the peace of mind of not only knowing that should something happen that is unforeseen, you get a little discount on that, but also the service protection. They're coming out there and they're scheduling for you. You don't even have to remember, okay, it's been so many months, I need to get someone out here to clean my air conditioner or whatever it is. And they'll fill you in on all that
I don't want to break it into percentages or anything, but I mean, you're paying the $19 a month to clean your air conditioning system, but I don't know exactly how much money you're saving per month on your electric bill.
Yeah.
But your unit is running so much better.
Yeah.
And
I'll bet
it's running
beats that $19 a month that you save.
It's running way less. All the components are running a lot cooler. It's blowing colder inside.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't want to say that it's like basically free because you're going to save $20 a month. I'm not quite sure on that.
Yeah.
You know, exact number, but I mean, it's,
I would imagine it's
my electric
pretty close.
Bill, my electric bill in my house $370 last month.
Yeah.
You know, I'm running around turning all the lights off, and I thought my mom was crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
we all do. And then we grow up, and we're like, oh, I get it.
Y'all better open some blinds or something. I ain't doing this again.
I get it, 100%. Quickly, some things a homeowner can do, maybe in between those service calls.
I mean, we talked about filter changes, routine filter changes. I mean, honestly, if you can. I mean, we cover everything in the maintenance plan.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you routinely change your filters and you're on the maintenance plan, having us come out twice a year, like you're taking care of everything you need to take care of.
Make sure that the thermostat is set at a reasonable temperature. And again, we never promote getting in your attic.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are not comfortable doing so, or if you're not, if you don't think you're comfortable doing it, some people have air conditioning systems in the closet, which is great.
Yeah.
But white distilled vinegar from Walmart, okay?
Yeah.
If you've got a T on your drain line or an opening, okay, we always recommend just pour a little bit of that down there once a month. You change your filter, pour a little vinegar down it.
Okay, there you go. That's some good
bleach.
advice I hadn't heard.
Not bleach.
Not bleach, which a lot of people do.
If that bleach goes back into the air conditioning system and not down the drain line like it's supposed to, it's very corrosive to aluminum and copper. It's a very, very quick way to need a new evaporator coil because it will cause leaks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So don't put bleach in those spots. So thank you very much for coming on. Look, we learned a lot today. We learned a lot about your company. You shared some tips on how homeowners can protect themselves, and quickly your service area, Baton Rouge, Livingston Parish.
Yeah. So basically it's a big circle. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you put a pin right in the middle of Baton Rouge, we'll go all the way as far as St. Francisville, a little bit of Port Allen, Prairieville, Gonzales, coming through Port Vincent, Holden, Albany area. We'll hit the back of where's that, Clinton area.
Yeah.
And then so kind of that wide range. I
That
guess
radius.
probably about 20, 25 mile radius of Baton Rouge.
There you go. So if you're located in that area, which most of my listeners are, reach out to Cool Kings Heating and Air, even if you're not having problems now, but maybe you want to get involved in that service plan.
Yeah.
They'd love to talk to you. I'm going to put their website in the description of this podcast. You can go there and you can find out whatever it is you want to know, as well as contact information and those sorts of things. I'm also going to link their Facebook page in the description of this podcast. So until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local businesses like Cool Kings,
Sir.
and keep leading. Thank you very much.